The Women Tell All. Welcome to Play in the Field, the Bachelor podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Field, the sports anchor here at WABC in New York City. Joined now, as always, by our usual favorites, Jen Matarese, our Bachelor insider from here at WABC in New York, and our Bachelor expert, Gina Sirico at KABC in Los Angeles. And Gina was in the house for the Women Tell All episode. She's got so many incredible, divulging stories from behind the scenes. All these things that didn't air that we can talk about. Gina says, let's not get crazy. Gina was there, though. So I guess first and foremost, just kind of set the mood for us, because obviously our listeners, I would argue that the majority of them have not been to one of these tapings. What was the mood like? Was it similar to other Women Tell All episodes in terms of the demeanor of everyone? Was it a little different? Kind of take us through your perspective of that evening.
Yeah, the mood is always fun. Look, these ladies know how to, I mean, they're friends, they're friendly. They were, chatting, amongst themselves, in between, commercial breaks and stuff like that. They, they're fun. I mean, but when I got there, the first people that I saw were Susan and Kathy, which is always just
always a hoot.
Blast.
Yeah.
Always a hoot. We sent you guys a photo. It was very fun.
It was good.
Because we had to, But yeah, it was, it's always a fun, reunion of sorts for all the ladies and, and for whoever the lead is. Mel did not really, Mel was Mel.
Mel was Mel.
Really a lot to say.
He seemed to be extra Mel in this episode, if I'm being honest. Mellow,
yeah.
Yes. Mellow Mel. And I thought the comedian Jared Fried had the best line. He called him the Tommy Bahama Frankenstein. Yes. I thought that was
beautiful.
Perfect. If we can come up with a better description, I'd like to see it, because that one pretty much summed it all up. Listen, there hasn't been a lot of drama in this season, and understandably so, because these are the Goldens, and the women tend to get along better than the pettiness that we've seen in other Bachelor and Bachelorette seasons. So I didn't expect there to be fireworks in the Women Tell All, but we did see Nicole in the hot seat. Not even on set, not even on like the main hot seat. She was just getting roasted by several of the women. And I guess, Jen, we kind of saw this coming based on what transpired during the season.
Yeah, I think we expected that someone was going to have to say something to her after her comments. And I think she wanted people to feel bad for her, that she was getting ganged up on perhaps. But it was, I don't know, I didn't really feel that bad. And I was questioning whether or not her tears were real, but her eyes did get red. So then I was like, okay, well, she is sort of crying about this. And not that I want someone to cry, but
I feel like you did want her to cry. Yeah.
No, she said mean things. All right. Can we just be honest? Like, she said mean things.
She did say mean things, and she did deserve to be called out. And she did deserve to be interviewed by our own Gina Sirico, who, as we said, was backstage. And Gina had a chance to catch up with Nicole, and here is that interview now.
This was a little bit of a tough night for you. How are you feeling now that it's all done out there and it's behind you?
I think it was healthy that everyone had a moment to speak their truth, whatever was true to them, and it's valid, and everyone is entitled to their own experience and their own opinion, and just like I am, and so I was happy to listen to it all, and it was fine. I know how to regulate my own nervous system, so when I start to get a little dysregulated, I've had a lot of practice just to bringing it back into balance and into center, and I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. Yeah. So it was a bit unfair. It was a bit unbalanced. I don't think I deserved that, but if they needed to get it off their chest, that's fine. And Debbie was very harsh with me, but I told her, Debbie, that was not okay, and she said, I said, you could have said something nice about me because we have a really close friendship and we were roommates. And she said, you're right, I should have done that. And she said, no, but I did say I appreciated you helping me put on my eyelashes for the date. And I said, you're right, you did say that. But maybe one more nice thing would have been okay too. But she was pretty scathing. But, it's okay. I forgive, I forgive her. I forgive everybody. I forgive myself, because I think if you're going to have friends, forgiveness is, and in any relationship, whether it's a long marriage or you're with your family or with your friends, forgiveness is paramount. If you can't forgive, you really won't have relationships, and I think I forgive them all, and I forgive me.
As you have been watching things back, do you think Can you kind of see where and understand where some of it was coming from?
Absolutely. I do see that. Yes. The unfortunate side is that, or the unfortunate part is that, they didn't show me as a whole person. They only showed one sliver of me, and they really, and trust me, I wasn't the only one in the house saying that, but I got that edit. So. I was very nurturing and loving, and I cooked for everybody, and I was a really good friend to a lot of the women, and I still am, and they support me. I have an overwhelming support from this cast, and they're all, I love them all, and they love me too. So,
absolutely. When you saw Susan and Kathy here, because obviously they were from season 1, and there was that comment,
yes.
Have you been able to talk to them? Have you been able to talk to any of the season 1 people?
Yes, I have. I mean, that is the one thing I apologized for on my Instagram, and I sent apologies directly. I DM'd Kathy, Susan, and another cast member from the first cast who reached out and said something to me, and I said, you were right, that wasn't kind, and I apologize for that. And so when I saw Kathy and Susan, they were very supportive of me. They wished me well. They were kind. Susan especially took the time to hug me and say, I'm rooting for you, and just own it and let's move on, because you have a lot. You're a great person, and yeah. So I felt very supported by them as well tonight.
Do you feel like you have the closure you need with men, with Mel, with the women, with everybody?
I do. I have complete closure. Yes, with Mel, with the women. And, I don't get closure outside of myself. Closure is an inside job. So, yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
What's next for Nicole?
That's a really good question. I don't know. Let's find out what comes my way. I'm going to get settled. I'm going to create the life of my dreams. I'm still on that path to call in and manifest the greatest love of my life. I want to get married, and I want to have a little career that makes me happy. And I'm going to create a whole new life now in my 60s, and I'm very excited about it.
So, she acknowledges that, she was she was playing the victim, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And, apologizes for, what she said about the women in the previous season, how they weren't that good looking. And maybe she admits she could have handled things a little bit differently during the season. Gina, are you agreeing with Jen? Are you kind of not buying what she's selling, or did you find her to be sincere?
Look, I think that Nicole is who she is. And I think that if this is how she said she wanted to speak her truth. Everybody else had the opportunity to speak their truth. This was her truth. And I feel like she's not apologetic for being who she is, if that makes sense. And if who she is a villain, and, and this is kind of the way she wants to move about life, do it. Lean into it. Be who you are. There is always, if she wants to be an influencer, there is a market for that. So, I mean, by all means, she is who she is. And I wish her the best. I hope that she finds what she's looking for. Hope she ends up happy. And that's really all we can do.
Could she end up being the Bachelor or the Golden Bachelorette just because of the...
Wait, did I just make that face?
Yes, you did make that face. For those of you listening, Jen made like she just smelled rotten eggs on her face. That's exactly what that looked like. I mean, listen, our new Bachelorette kind of brings a little controversy to her. Would they want to have a little Golden Bachelorette controversy? Because she would definitely be a little more fiery than Debbie, who I think is the sentimental favorite to be the next Golden Bachelorette if they have one. But I would like to see Nicole in that hot seat, because you guys know it's me, and I want to see her mixing things up. I did think it was funny when Mel was in the chair and she said, I've just missed you so much. And then she kind of paused, waiting for Mel to say, I missed you too. And Mel just looked at her like, yeah.
And that's when she started crying.
That's
that
when
was
she started
when the tears
crying.
happened.
Right, exactly. She knew that Mel did miss her. So Cheryl does come into the hot seat there next to Jesse, and she talks about how she's still wearing the bracelet from the one-on-one. And, Cheryl's a lot like Debbie, one of the sentimental favorites from this season, one that we were really pulling for, but it obviously didn't work out the way that she wanted to. And she had her family there in attendance, her son and her grandkids. That was a really cool moment. And obviously the highlight of her night was being interviewed by Gina, and here's that interview now.
How are you feeling? Do you feel like you have closure after everything?
Yeah, I do. I feel closure. My heart was huge for Mel, and the whole time I was down there, and I'm just an old-fashioned girl. I wish I knew how to flirt more, and that's what I wish. I wish I would have moved in more, but I was allowing the other girls, that's who I am, to share, to enjoy him as well. But I felt confident that we had something going. And when I left, it hurt my heart. It really did. I went home with a heavy heart. And it hasn't been easy, but tonight I feel that little bit of a closure, seeing the girls and the sisterhood, and then Mal, of course. And he looks so good. He's so handsome. And somebody's really going to be lucky, very lucky.
Do you have any thoughts on the final two women and who you think he might pick?
I think so, yeah. I met the girl there. I mean, there's two, and they're both equally amazing, right, with great personalities. Cindy and I really connected. Cindy is an amazing, well-rounded woman, and I feel like she was very in love with Mal, and I know Peg was as well, but I feel like Cindy would be the woman for him, probably, yeah.
You are now a part of Bachelor Nation, a part of this family, which is so great. You know, if they came calling and said, hey, would you want to be the Golden Bachelorette? Or would you do Paradise, kind of like what happened this past year? Would you do that?
That's a good question. The Bachelorette, possibly. Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, I guess I can get my strong Cheryl out and be the Bachelorette, you know? That would be great. Paradise, I'd have to think about that. Because, you know, I could have maybe wore a bikini, but I just didn't want to. And I'm like, no, I'm 66, you know. So, but Paradise, you know, I can wear one piece possibly. I don't know. We got to get more men on that Paradise. That's what I'm thinking.
So she has the closure with Mel. She feels like, you know, she's not happy with how things ended, but she's accepting of it. And Gina, she says that maybe she would be down to go on Golden Bachelorette or Bachelor in Paradise. How would you feel about that?
I mean, I think she could be a lovely, Golden Bachelorette. She could. She was a little bit more hesitant about Paradise. But I kind of get it. I do feel like what I find to be funny is that she was this like motocross,
Right.
racer, and she was competitive, and she was so in that zone. But now I think where she is in her life, she's a little bit more quiet, more calm and centered in that way. And maybe Golden Bachelor or maybe Bachelor in Paradise isn't her thing. I get it. She's like, I have grandkids.
I could see her as a Paradise pick.
Yeah.
I don't really see her as the next Golden Bachelorette, but maybe I'm completely wrong. No. I see somebody else who I've said since the very beginning.
Who?
Debbie.
Yes.
So, Gina, you want Debbie as well to be the next Golden Bachelorette? Is that fair to say? Okay, so I'm the only one who wants Nicole, although I do think Debbie.
No.
I do think Debbie would be the safer choice. I think we can all agree on that.
Don't you want her to find love? Don't you
Of
want
course
Debbie
I do.
to find love?
And I hope her DMs are getting blown up as we speak after her appearance on the show. And, as we transition to talk about Debbie, I thought it was very telling that when she went into the hot seat, what was the crowd's reaction? Debbie, Debbie, Debbie. I mean, that tells you all you need to know, that she is certainly a fan favorite, and obviously, as we've said, the sentimental favorite from this season. And it was heartbreaking to see her journey come to an end with Mel. And she also had a chance to chat with Gina after the taping, and here is that interview.
There were some tense moments. Nicole, I think, took some heat, which was kind of understandable considering everything that we saw. You had a couple of lines about that were like, whoa, okay, I get it. She told us she was feeling a little like maybe it was a little much, but just tell me how you were feeling in that room and just the things that you wanted to get off your chest.
Yeah, I feel bad because I really hadn't even intended on really going there. But it really did bother me when I saw the episodes because I hadn't seen those things that she had said. And up until that point, I was always, her champion. I was always defending her. And a lot of people, from my friends, my family, people I didn't even know, just the hate that they were. And I said, no, she's lovely and she's funny and charming, and I always was like, you be you, and I wish I could be that flirtatious. And she did my makeup for my one-on-one date, and I love this girl. I shared a bathroom and a bedroom with her, and then I saw the stuff and it just really hit me the wrong way. And I thought, if she is such a champion of women and women empowerment, how could she say that about the women from the previous season. And if she's so head over heels for Mel, and then why is she saying these other things about just wanting to be an influencer and wanting to date America? And I just think for as savvy as she is, it just wasn't the smartest move. And also just, it was disheartening to me. And she dismissed my connection with Mel and a lot of other women. It almost felt like she felt like I have the best connection with him and I know what's up and everybody's taking advice from me, and that just was not the case. It's very confusing. Like, she's almost two separate women. But with that said, I wish I would have worded it differently. But I got caught up in the moment, and I knew that I wanted to say those things because I felt like maybe she needed to hear that. And it doesn't take away from the fact that I adore her and I love her, and I just expected more from her. I am.
And you have become one of our beloved, and we've been saying it on our podcast, like, if they offered it to you, to be the Golden Bachelorette, would you do that? We would love to see that. Would you do that?
I would. I don't see how I could say no to it, as much as I know I've said before how difficult it would be. I would embrace it wholeheartely. I'm open. I'm ready. I've been ready. I've been ready for several years, and that's, I think, why this hurt so much, because I had my hope. The hope came back, and the thought of, oh my gosh, this would be such a crazy fairy tale ending for my life's journey. Right? And it looked like it was going to happen. And then for it to just fall flat right after my hometown, that was tough to take. But I am completely open and ready and excited at what the future will bring.
She talks about confronting Nicole and, maybe she could have handled it a little bit differently. And I was frankly surprised to see Debbie.
Debbie got fiery.
Yeah, out of nowhere. Nicole's like, wait a minute, you and I are supposed to be girls. Like, now you're calling me out. We were roommates, the whole thing. So I think she had a little bit of remorse there with Gina, maybe in terms of how she could have handled that, or maybe felt like she could have handled that a little bit better. But I kind of liked her going after Nicole.
I liked it because it showed her range of personality.
Yeah, exactly.
We only got to see really nice Debbie on the show, and very much, I love everything and I love Mel, and this was like, no, if something bothers her, she's going to speak up about it. And I don't think she was mean about it. And I thought she said it perfectly when she said, well, Nicole, people have to like you. No one's going to want you to be an influencer if they don't like you. So that's true.
Yeah.
Gina, what was your take on what she had to say?
She really kind of got to the heart of it, and I think it's all the things that a lot of the audience had seen and kind of had that same feeling and reaction to. I love Debbie, as you all know. One thing you did not see, and I can tell you, one thing you didn't see in our interview is, I'll tell you a little secret. So I have a cousin who is that same age, and I said, hey, he's never been married. You've never been married. And I kind of showed her the picture, and she was like, oh, he's cute. So maybe I'll find her. Maybe I'm going to find her a man before we go,
but then you're going to blow up our season.
Yes.
I know. I'm sorry. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just make him go on it.
Well, I was going to say, we'll have them both here in the studio. That would be amazing. So then Mel comes into the hot seat.
I'd have to fly out for that one.
Well, you better fly out for that one. Mel comes into the hot seat, and I thought Mel was kind of low energy in this one. And not that he's like a barrel of fun, but I thought that he was a little more reserved than he typically is. He's still wearing his comfy shoes, and Jesse kind of rips him for that. Debbie and Cheryl get their closure, and I just thought it was kind of a ho-hum appearance by Mel. I did like Jared Freed being in the audience, and then they flash back to the roast, and we finally got to see Cindy crack a joke, which, if you recall, they did not show her at all during the roast, during that stand-up.
Her dress was great.
Her dress was great. Definitely eye-catching. No doubt Mel appreciated that. So we finally got to see Cindy from that night, crack a joke, which we were wondering where that was during the so she was there. We were wondering where that was during the original episode when it aired. But overall, I don't know, guys. I just thought this was kind of a ho-hum episode, and then we. And then we get set here for the finale. So wait, I'm confused because they said the finale is November 12th. So what is next week?
Yes.
Next week we have the
Overnight.
Fantasy Suites.
Oh, that's right, the Fantasy Suites.
And then the following week, I think
is
that's
a 2-hour finale.
Yeah, I think that's when they'll meet his children, unless they're moving that into next week's episode. But usually that's on the finale episode, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think next week is. Look, we only have 1 hour episodes
Overnight.
here,
right.
so that'll be 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour. With the 2 fantasy suites and whatever happens there, and then the next week will be kind of like how they always do, where they're incorporating the live aspect and showing
Sure.
and showing everything. So. We'll see how it all plays out.
Only
I bet
2
we'll
episodes
see in the
left,
finale,
ladies.
I bet we'll see Taylor.
Yeah, I bet we will
too.
Flew by.
It really did fly by. They showed the trailer for next week, which is going to be the overnights, as you ladies pointed out. And one last quick clip from Gina. She had a chance to chat with Gerri about Mel's decision between Cindy and Peg and the tough choice that he is now faced with. And here is what Gerri had to say.
It's so good to see you. Finally, I'm glad we get to see each other, not through a screen. Talk to me about how you're feeling after tonight. This was, there were some tense moments, but there were some great moments. So how are you feeling?
Tense moments? I feel great. I feel wonderful. I mean, the tense moments got a little too tense. And I love the way Carol kind of squashed it and say, enough's enough. Let's move on. Let's move on.
And for you yourself, do you feel like you got kind of the closure that you were looking for when it came to Mel?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I was able to go talk to him later on. And he asked me, how are the children? I said, they're doing great. I said, how are the boys? He said, they're doing good. And I said, Mel, I'm rooting for you. I just want you to be happy.
Looking at the ladies that he's got left, who do you think? I mean, there's Cindy and there's Peg. They're so different in so many different ways. Who do you think that is the right fit for him?
I don't know. I mean, Cindy, my heart tugs for her. It does tug for Cindy. And I don't know. It's a tough decision. It's like choosing between your 2 favorite children. How do you choose between your 2 favorite children? Pray.
Has anyone now said, "Oh, I've got a guy."
No. You know what? I can't get over that. I have friends, all these friends. No. So I don't know. We'll just wait and see. I'm patient. Don't forget, 40 years for a sorority. I can wait a couple of weeks or a month or 2.
Dear Gerri's friends, please get her a man.
A nice man. What are you looking for? It's got to be God-fearing, family-oriented, easy on the eyes, athletic, fun. Just have fun. Football games, basketball games, you name it. Let's go do something. Or let's just sit in the house and watch Hallmark, Gerri, in your curlers, Gerri, and your sweatpants.
And Gerri thinks it's going to be Cindy.
Seems like it. She
Which
says her
we
heart's
see.
tugging
I think it's going to be Cindy. What do you 2 think?
It could go either way.
Oh,
And
my
not to be a
gosh.
fence
You
sitter.
are a fence sitter. Gina's rubbing off on you. This is not good.
No, but I could see him have a very fun and exciting time with Peg because she brings the energy, and maybe he needs that.
Maybe so.
He's lacking some. But
We can all agree on that.
Cindy, I think, matches his level, and he likes how classy she is.
Yes.
So there's that.
Gina, final word.
There's something that is sticking with me from my chat with Cindy, and that where she was talking about we'll see who makes compromises and who won't.
Ooh.
And so I'm really wondering. It was from last week. I'm really wondering whether it ends up not being her in the end. What is the thing that maybe he wouldn't compromise on or she wouldn't compromise on? So we'll have to see.
Cue the music. Dun, dun, dun.
Do we have time for this one little bit?
Yeah.
Do you think that Cindy or Peg would be a better Golden Bachelorette than Debbie if that was the case? Or is Debbie just the one? If it happens.
I think Peg would be a great Golden Bachelorette. only because she would just bring a little bit more fun to the table. Not that she's not as wholesome as Debbie, because I certainly think she is, but just in a different way.
Yeah.
I think Peg would be a very fun Golden Bachelorette, but she may end up being Mel's fiance. We don't know yet.
We don't know.
We all get to find out together. That's the best part. And if you like our podcast, what do you need to do, Jen?
Like and follow us.
Like and follow. We appreciate you being here. As always, we have 2 more episodes to discuss. The finale of The Golden Bachelor is almost here. I can't believe how fast the season has flown by. We are so thankful that you were here today, though. For Jen and Gina, I'm Ryan. We'll see you next time.